It's a once-in-a-lifetime project.
Oh, I think without a doubt, planning is the most important part of the process.
You cannot do anything without the plan. It's critical.
You don't want to dig a hole and then try and figure out what you're going to put in it.
Really get the community involved right from the get-go.
The special interests, the neighborhoods, everybody, let the community define what you're going to build.
My advice to sheriffs is not to lose control of the project.
I knew I had to be in charge.
From walking the streets, gathering support from the community, to telling the architects exactly what we needed to put inside.
You've got to be involved throughout the process, in every meeting, making the decisions that you're going to live with for the remainder of the time this facility is in operation.
Many communities across the country are faced with the challenge of building a new jail. Sometimes because the current jail is old and beyond repair, and often because it's crowded. Building a new jail is a complex project, probably the most complex and costly one any community will undertake, no matter the scope of the project. Why? The project involves not only constructing a new secure building to house inmates, but also requires the input, support, and cooperation of the entire local criminal justice system and the community. The project is further complicated by the nature of the jail itself. Jails are complex and carry a high degree of potential liability. Essentially, they are small, self-contained communities that must provide food, clothing, medical and mental health services, sanitation, and recreation to the inmates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Jails deal with a wide variety of risks and needs in the inmate population. They must be secure and well managed to ensure the safety of staff, inmates, visitors, and the community. Building a new jail is a significant challenge indeed. Fortunately, there's a well-defined process communities can follow as they build their new jails. This is called the facility development process, and it's evolved from the experiences of communities, jail practitioners, architects, and jail planners over the last 30 years. The facility development process has been used successfully in metropolitan, suburban, and rural communities, resulting in jails that are cost-efficient, meet the community's needs, operate effectively, and align with the community's criminal justice goals. There are three critical themes that run throughout the facility development process: planning, inclusion of jail staff, local officials, and citizens, and control by those who will own and operate the new jail. The facility development process includes 9 essential phases with a variety of activities in each. The 9 phases can be grouped into 4 major steps. Determine the need for and feasibility of building a new jail, decide to build and plan operations, design the jail, and build the jail and plan the transition. Throughout the process, there are points where a decision is made to move forward with the project or not. Recently, 4 communities around the country used the facility development process as they built their new jails. They shared their stories so that others might benefit from their experiences. To build or not to build a jail, a critical decision for many communities. Jurisdictions must first assess the need for a new jail, and second, determine if they have the resources to build one. Determining the need for a new jail must be based on reliable data, community demographics, crime rates, and inmate population statistics, such as admissions, average length of stay, and average daily population.
We had the statistics, we had the data, and by doing that and working together, we were able to go as a group, as a cohesive group, and report that this is definitely what's needed for our community.
I worked for 10 years in a prosecutor's office, now 12 years on the bench as the judge. In the 21 years I've been here, our jail's been overcrowded. It's been a problem since I've been here, and a problem that needed to be addressed.
Also, when determining need, jurisdictions must review the policies and practices in the criminal justice system and the effect they have on jail population.
A lot of people don't understand that the laws have changed. The crimes went from different classifications, from say a Class D felony up to a Class C, or Class C up to a Class B, and so the people weren't able to bond out. So they're sitting in the jail waiting for their trials to come up.
Miami County tried a number of things to decrease the jail population, including home detention and work release.
One of the things that we've done effectively in our community is that we have really beefed up our community corrections program to deal with some of the people who were in jail but could probably be, supervised within the community rather than sitting in jail.
We did everything we could, and we were still overcrowded, so we knew we'd have to take the step of increasing capacity.
A lawsuit was coming, and we had to do something.
Once jurisdictions have determined the need for a new jail, they must start to educate themselves about contemporary practices in jail design, construction, and operations, and the associated costs.
Once we saw that we had the jail project was on our plates, we did several things to try to educate ourselves. I know some things, but I sure don't know enough to build a jail. We wanted to find out who was successful and how they did it.
We visited jails that were under construction, and then we'd go back to those jails after they'd been in for 6 months to a year, and we would meet with the staff and ask them, what did you do? What would you do different?
Sheriff Rowland also understood the importance of informed, involved, and educated citizens in this phase of the facility development process.
The main focus was to educate the leaders in our community about the problems we were having at the jail. By bringing them in, it gave us a bigger voice. When they would hear somebody say we don't need a new jail, they were eager to speak up and say, yes, we do, because I've been there. We do have a problem here in Miami County, and we know that we have to correct it, and a new jail is the answer. We opened ourselves up. We weren't hiding anything. We brought the newspaper in, and they reported to the public what our problems were.
For Miami County, the needs assessment data showed that a new jail would be the best way to fix the county's crowding problems.
As a jail committee, we felt it was very important to educate ourselves in the process, what it would take to move forward with either a jail expansion or jail construction. We invited a lot of different consultants to come talk to us.
We ended up deciding on a totally new facility because of, the main thing was cost and efficiency.
With the support of the public, the county moved forward, projected costs, and approved the new jail project. If a community determines it does need a new jail, local officials then need to define its mission and operational philosophy. They also need to identify all functions within the jail, such as inmate housing, food and medical service, laundry, visitation, and inmate programs, and determine how those functions will be carried out. Finally, they must determine where the jail will be located. The city and county of Denver, Colorado, faced several challenges in their planning efforts.
All of us put our heads together and really talked about why Denver was special and how to bring our unique justice system to form. We're a city that treats people humanely, and we wanted our buildings to reflect that.
As in Miami County, Denver realized that community commitment and involvement would be key in getting the facility that would best meet their needs.
So what we did was we created 3 committees, one on the jail, one on the courtrooms, and one on the financing of it. Over the course of about 14 months, we had over 200 people be part of that process.
As part of their planning, Denver was interested in building a facility that supported a new inmate management philosophy.
We're able to move from 1950s architecture with, the Alcatraz style of jail management into the direct supervision, where all the dormitories are open, the officers can interact with the inmates in a meaningful way, and we can provide good services to the inmates throughout.
Denver's team thoroughly analyzed and documented how each function in the jail would be carried out. This gave the architects a clear direction for how the building should be designed.
As we said about designing the facility, it was really important that we include the line staff because they're the ones that have to work in the building. And so in the early architectural designs, we actually ran a number of different scenarios by a committee made up of deputy sheriffs.
Deciding where to build the jail can be a significant challenge for any community. Denver was no exception.
The early focus of our effort was really about building a jail downtown.
This is a very difficult conversation, I think, for communities to have, putting a detention facility or even a courthouse in the middle of your downtown.
The courts got involved and they raised their hand and said, we've got serious problems in the courts too, and so we expanded our plan to include some component of the criminal courts.
Jail planning teams also need to consider the implications of codes, standards, and regulations for the jail and its operations. Now is when the cost of construction and the ongoing cost of operating the new jail can begin to be determined. Armed with their new knowledge, local officials and the jail planning team can then define the size and adjacencies of the spaces within the jail based on how they will be used. In Denver, their hard work paid off.
We really got everything we wanted into the facility, and so when we ended up with our final design, we were able to keep everything that was important to us. Program services for inmates, staff amenities, great layout, and accessibility really for everybody.
Denver also wanted to design an environmentally efficient jail.
When I first got elected, right from the beginning, we made a commitment that we would look at using less energy, using less resources, being greener. We were going to look at how do we use resources and energy at every step of this, and how can we use less in the construction and design of the buildings and in the operations.
Denver is a model for green building. The detention facility and the courthouse will also be LEED certified. Leadership in energy efficient design. We were happy to be the pioneers in green building for Denver.
As elements fell into place, Denver began to refine the construction and project costs for the new jail, including a preliminary staffing plan.
I believe that we did it the right way here in Denver.
You need to improve the efficiency of your current system and then also look at the aesthetic of the building. And with those factors, I think you have got a great start in building facilities in the heart of your city.
As in Denver, the jail planning team in Lubbock County, Texas had worked through the facility development process. They analyzed their inmate population, knew their mission and goals, and decided on an approach to managing inmates in their new jail. They knew what they wanted. It was now time to translate their ideas into a building design.
The county hired an architect to assist us to put the programming needs into a schematic design.
As we went into that design process, we had a conceptual idea of what it is we wanted the architect to create for us.
Because of the nature and complexity of jails, it's smart to work with architects and builders with experience in jail design and construction. But it's crucial to remember that the new jail's owners need to keep control of the process.
The sheriff will be operating that facility 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 1 to 20 years, 30 years. They are the ones in charge of that facility, and they must not lose control of the direction and development of that facility they will be building.
And they may have an architect that shows up that says, we've got a deal for you, we can build what you need, just turn it over to us and we'll give you the keys when it's through. That would be the worst thing that anyone could do. They understood from the very beginning that we were the owners and that they worked for us and that they were there to complete what we wanted.
This is the last chance a jurisdiction has to ensure that it gets what it wants from its new jail's design. After this, changes are expensive and time-consuming.
I know we had a time there that folks thought we were spending too much time on design and changes, but we've seen that that was money and time that was well spent.
The Lubbock team stayed involved in design decisions every step of the way. And the payoff? A jail design that suits their needs and an efficient, budget-conscious project.
There's some very intense discussions that occurred during these design meetings. We all had ownership in this project, and I think that was a key factor in the success of the project.
You bring in the experts that can give you the advice on what you need to do and to be part of your team, but ultimately it goes back to the owners.
We have less than 1/3 of 1% of the cost of this project is in change orders. We're under $300,000 total on an $82 million project, which is unheard of. It's superb.
As the new jail is built, the transition into the jail is planned and the jail becomes fully operational. In transition planning, a team of jail staff defines every operational detail of every jail function. They write the policies and procedures, define the final staffing plan, train staff on new jail operations, order furniture, fixtures, and supplies, and plan the logistics of moving staff, inmates, and equipment from the old jail to the new. In Blue Earth County, Minnesota, officials found the work of the transition team essential to the success of their new jail.
We stood up a transition team at the same time we broke ground, and they were officially sanctioned to begin the planning for how to operate the building.
We're just finishing up policy and procedure, doing the final review, and then it'll go to printing. And we've started up on the training plan and moving plan, but also the ordering furniture and furnishings and equipment for the new jail.
We, a few years ago, went through the existing building and made decisions whether we were going to keep this stuff or get rid of this stuff. What's there that's useful and good, and what's there that probably doesn't need to go.
Hard thing about that is knowing when the building will be complete, when we can get this furniture delivered, installed, without hindering the rest of the construction.
As the transition team plans for operating the new jail, it also monitors the construction of the building.
The Sheriff's Office saw the transition team as our eyes on site during the construction time.
They caught so many things that no one else would have caught, but they did because they work it every day.
Our transition coordinator would keep me updated on any thing that she located, any flaws in the building, any construction errors.
Through our walkthroughs, we've found columns that don't meet up with walls, so there's 3-inch gaps that potentially inmates could hide contraband. We've also found improperly installed countertops that the inmates could hide things in because the brackets aren't, completely touching the countertop.
One thing they caught was the size of the window shrunk from what was spec'd out and what the requirement was from DOC. With catching that, it saved the county $100,000.
And if you don't have somebody from your staff watching it every minute, you've got problems.
We really, truly poured our heart and soul to make this the best building for the public, for the employees that work here, and for everybody involved in the project.
It is important to understand that transition continues even after staff and inmates are moved into the new building. After the jail is occupied and operating, staff, usually some members of the transition team, need to assess the physical plant, security systems, and operations to ensure they are functioning as intended and make any needed adjustments.
I think it's very important also to keep in mind that the transition process won't happen by itself, because it's from start to finish, and even for several months after we're completely moved in. That transition office is going to be in solving and still working on detail after detail after detail.
While each community is unique, the facility development process can be applied to all new jail projects, no matter the size or location of the community. It is an effective planning methodology that has helped local jurisdictions nationwide plan, construct, and occupy new jails that align with their criminal justice goals, are well managed, and are a source of pride for their citizens.
If another mayor were to ask me how to get a justice center built, I would say first, get rid of your preconceptions, start with a blank slate. 2, involve the public, the special interests, the neighborhoods, everybody. Let the community define what you're going to build.
If I were to give advice to other sheriffs across the country, it would be to involve all aspects of personnel, from line officers to bid managers to upper echelon, to travel and look at other models across the country.
To other judges who might be in the same situation in their county or jurisdictions, I would say again, be involved. Be involved with your sheriff, with your jailers. Find out what's going on in your jail environment.
I was fortunate to get to go around the country and look at a lot of jails. You saw jails who had engaged their staffs and their community, who really had jails that were going to last for a long time. And then you saw jails where either the sheriff ran it totally by himself or the county board did it by themselves. They hadn't engaged anybody, and it was a mess.
When this project is done, it's going to be a great feeling. It takes the whole community. It takes the criminal justice system, it takes all the elected officials, and it takes the community itself.